joining us live from the national capital. Shravan, can you hear me? Shravan, can you hear me? I'm just trying to see if Shravan can get my audio. And there's a huge scandal that's broken out. In fact, the UK media claims that Sanjay Bhandari, who Shravan said tracked down arms dealer Sanjay Bhandari, who Shravan tracked down in London, has moved the court and has said that he has not got commissions which were due to him. This media report, Shravan, cites this court order, the court and the petition, saying that Sanjay Bhandari says he was hired by a firm to secure a 2.4 billion deal contract to upgrade jets for the Indian Air Force. Contract was signed in 2011, and now he's asking the court to order this firm to pay him commissions that he says is owed. The lawsuit is ongoing. A judgment is expected later this year. And it also mentions that Bhandari alleges that from 2008 he helped this firm sell the upgrade of the jets by facilitating a meeting with the then Indian Defence Secretary. Claims that he was due a consultancy fee of $20 million but was only paid $9 million. Now, this is, if anything, Shravan, and those are pictures of Shravan Sen tracking down Sanjay Bhandari in London. Those were exclusive pictures of when Shravan went to London and tracked him down. Now, going by this report, Shravan, it confirms that there was some sort of commissions due, some meetings facilitated, at least going by the claim of Sanjay Bhandari, who's believed to be Robert Vadra's aide. You tracked him down in London. You know the story better, Shravan.
Well, in fact, Niranjan, some very big news points really coming in from this article that has been published in London. Let me just quickly take our viewers through what are the big takeaways. One, for the first time, you have Sanjay Bhandari clearly admitting that he had links with the Indian National Congress, actually worked on their behalf as far as this defense deal is concerned. He's admitting that there was a consultancy fee of about 20 million euros that was promised by this French company for a Mirage 2000 military jet upgrade, of which only 9 million euros were paid to him. This is something that the company has denied. But having said that, what becomes abundantly clear, something that he was hiding all this while, something that the Congress party has also been trying to distance themselves. But the fact of the matter is that he has essentially worked as a middleman for the UPA government. And this becomes amply clear from the petition that has been filed by Sanjay Bhandari in a French court. The hearing is going to take place. Remember, he's already sued the company, saying that these are pending dues and this would have its own ramifications. But having said that, remember, this is not the only case that one is looking at. As far as India is concerned, there are multiple cases that have already been registered against Sanjay Bhandari. A case that is being probed by the Delhi police on the one hand, and also the Enforcement Directorate. The Enforcement Directorate is also looking at not just this deal, the Mirage deal, but also the Pilatus deal that has come under the scanner, and also there are other defense deals with oil major companies that have come under the scanner of the Enforcement Directorate, in which the Enforcement Directorate believes that Sanjay Bhandari played the role of a middleman, striking deals with these companies, and that's the big allegation that was leveled. But the big takeaway is that he himself has now admitted that he was close to the Indian National Congress, and the fact of the matter is that he claims that this is a witch hunt that is being carried out by the BJP government here in India. But the fact of the matter is that there is a charge sheet that has already been filed by the Enforcement Directorate. Extradition proceedings have already begun. In fact, we are being told that the Enforcement Directorate is perhaps going to send out a team to London when the hearing is going to take place in the next coming few weeks. Once that happens, remember, there is already a court here in India that has taken a cognizance, and a non-bailable warrant has already been issued against Sanjay Bhandari. All in all, the Congress party certainly has something to answer when you have their own man essentially claiming that he was close to the Congress party, he worked for them, and more importantly, there is enough evidence. The fact of the matter is that the links that that emerges with the alleged links with Robert Vadra also. There is a property back in London which the Enforcement Directorate suspects was the proceeds of crime that was diverted, and there are certain communications between Robert Vadra and Sanjay Bhandari, and that is the reason why we are given to understand that the link that has so far emerged between the Gandhi family and with Sanjay Bhandari. In fact, we still remain the only Indian news network to have tracked down Sanjay Bhandari, who had left the country and was hiding in United Kingdom. It was months of investigation that finally led us to the doorstep of Sanjay Bhandari, who was certainly petrified the moment he saw a Republic crew standing outside his residence. We had tracked him down. We knew exactly where he was staying. In fact, we were prepared with a set of questions to ask, given the fact that we were armed with certain evidence of communication between him and Robert Vadra. But the moment he saw the Republic crew back a few years ago, he decided to go underground thereafter. There was no response from his side, even though we tried to get in touch with him, try and get an answer from him. The fact of the matter remains is that Sanjay Bhandari certainly is hiding something that he does not want to reveal.
In fact, Rhythm is also joining us live on this broadcast. Rhythm, Shravan has to just, get into a meeting, so I'll take just one more question with him by just making one mention of what else is reported in this UK media report. He's just going into a meeting, so I'll just take one question and I'm coming across to you, Rhythm. But do listen into what he has said, Rhythm, because this is critical. This is critical because there are interlinkages in some of the cases that we have seen in the Indian media, and we've tracked the arms gate, the arms scandal a few years back. You'll remember that very well, Rhythm and Shravan. And in this particular report, there is a mention. The report says in his writ petition, Mr. Bhandari states that he was told by the then head of the defense firm about an elaborate financial covert scheme in India and Dubai which enabled payment of secret commission to intermediaries. So he's admitting that there were secret commissions to intermediaries. Going by this report, he says there were secret commissions to intermediaries. And he adds in his writ petition, this arrangement was presented as being a standard practice. Secret commissions, standard practice for payment of commercial intermediation services. And then there is a mention of a meeting between a former defense secretary and a defense giant. And I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, Shravan. And there could be a lot more that we can expect coming out in the public domain.
In fact, Niranjan, talking about the case that has been registered by the Indian agencies, it's far more elaborate than what we are looking at. It is not just one defense deal, multiple defense deals, be it the Pilatus deal, which is being probed by the Central Bureau of Investigation. The Enforcement Directorate is also looking at certain deals that were basically struck with oil major companies and several other multinational companies, and they suspect that the proceeds of crime were being diverted to another country. For instance, there's a property back in central London which they believe is linked to the Gandhi family. But it is through Sanjay Bhandari. The man who was on the ground, who was working for the Gandhi family, was none other than Sanjay Bhandari. Now, that's the allegation that has been leveled by the Enforcement Directorate. But today, the big news point here is that he himself has admitted that he was known to the Congress party. He was acting on behalf of the party. The fact of the matter is that they were trying to push with a French company to upgrade military jets here in India. It is going to have its own ramifications, given the fact that even the French company, is now going to come under the anti-corruption rules, and that's going to have its own impact. But the fact of the matter is that as far as Sanjay Bhandari is concerned, this is going to be picked up by the Indian agencies also when the extradition hearings take place before a West Magistrates Court in London. In all likelihood, remember, the Enforcement Directorate would be armed with not just one defense deal, but multiple other defense deals. At least I can tell you 2 such deals which have come under the scanner, both the deals that were signed during the UPA regime. And the fact of the matter is that with his own admission, this is only going to strengthen the case for India when the extradition hearing comes up. But at the same time, he knows that one way, the spanner that could come into this entire extradition proceedings is the asylum route that has been taken by Sanjay Bhandari. Remember, this is the usual plot that has been taken by several of these fugitives once they land in London. We've seen it in the case of Vijay Mallya. It is also turning out to be pretty much the same as far as Sanjay Bhandari is concerned. But having said that, there is a victory that India has seen. In the case of Nirav Modi, in the case of Vijay Mallya also, they have been able to convince the courts in London that this is a fit case for extradition to take place.
Yeah, stay with me. Let me go across to Ridhaman Bharadwaj. Also been tracking the story very closely. Not just this story, but many interlinked stories. There is a mention of Dubai. There is a mention of secret commissions, Rhythm. There is a mention of standard practice. There is a mention of a meeting. There is a mention of a Congress party link. And if he's mentioned it in a petition, there could be huge ramifications. Rhythm, how are you looking at the developments?
Before that, I would just like to tell our viewers who Sanjay Bhandari is, like Shravan was pointing out, and I still remember we are the only channel that actually was able to confront him, and I still remember that rather thrilling sequence that we had Shravan do with him in the United Kingdom when Shravan was waiting outside for him to come out, and the moment he saw Shravan, he was absolutely shell-shocked. Sanjay Bhandari was known first for his for being a very close aide to Congress's Robert Vadra. He's an arms dealer who allegedly signed an agreement with an engineering firm for consultancy services earlier on that is being probed by the ED. Now, you asked about his connections with other people whom we've been probing. So I'll also tell you, when it came to the London property of allegedly of Robert Vadra, for which he was probed by the ED, number 12 Bryanston Square, London, by purchasing 100% shares of it from Vertex Management Holdings Limited, around 5 million in 2009. Now, this London property was sold to Skylight Investments in Dubai, Niranjan. Skylight Investments was floated by one CC Thampi for the purpose of acquiring immovable assets. CC Thampi and Robert Vadra are also mentioned in the Justice Dhingra inquiry report when they're trying to see what was happening in Gurgaon. When you were talking about all these things taken together, we understand that there was a lot of things that was happening, but Robert Vadra's key aide, CC Thampi, Robert Vadra's key aide, also Sanjay Bhandari, has at this point of time now come into the focus for another case, and that's now something that I'm going to talk about. In fact, in this PMLA case at that time, Vadra was also named. We'd also in fact investigated this entire thing by even going to see what was happening in different offices in India. Then also, let's tell our viewers, before I come to the particular case Shravan and you are talking about, Bhandari, who was wanted in India under the Official Secrets Act. He's currently in the United Kingdom. He had sought asylum there for certain other deals. Now coming to the case that you're talking about, there is a French firm which in 2016 deal signed there is the French firm which is also a part. The French firm, which is also part of the 2016 deal India signed for the delivery of 36 Rafale jets, is facing allegations it used a secret system of paying middlemen. Yes.
Rhythm, I'm sorry to interrupt you there. I'm just getting the first political response to this. Let me go across to Shehzad Poonawalla, who's a spokesman of the BJP, joining us on the phone line. Shehzad Poonawalla, I think you've also tweeted about this. Now, this is completely based on a media report in the UK. Sanjay Bhandari is a known arms dealer. But this media report talks about admission of commissions that were due to him for a deal during the UPA era, which he claims, according to this report, was facilitated by him with the Defense Secretary, and reportedly by his own admission, he says he was targeted for his close proximity to the Congress party. Now, if that is the case, and we are going purely by this report, it raises many questions.
Absolutely, Niranjan. What is very clear from this news report is that on record it has been admitted by Robert Vadra's close aide, Mr. Sanjay Bhandari, and his links with Robert Vadra there for the entire world to see, that he did 6 deals during the UPA tenure, that he managed to get a deal done under the UPA government by facilitating some meetings. And what is also important is that commissions were paid, and when these commissions were paid, who were these commissions meant for? Because all of this, as per the media report, has been admitted to by Mr. Bhandari in a court of law. And if it has been mentioned in a court of law, then who are the beneficiaries, the ultimate beneficiaries of the corrupt commission deals that Sanjay Bhandari was striking during the UPA? Why was he allowed to strike these deals? Who was he striking them for? Who was the ultimate beneficiary of the deal he was striking? These questions must be answered by the Congress party, and once again the Congress party, I believe, INC would stand for I Need Commission. This is yet another instance of the I Need Commission mindset that prevailed during the UP tenure that Sanjay Bhandari has himself admitted to in a court of law.
No, it raises many questions. In fact, we'll try and get the official response from the Congress party. Not sure whether they'll respond to it, but I think we should ask them whether they have a response. So we'll try and get that. Thank you, Shehzad, for speaking to Republic TV. I'm going back to Ridhaman Bardwaj, who was taking through the chronology of who this man is, why he's in the UK, and these reports also for the first time saying that he's seeking political asylum. Ridham, by claiming political persecution, now is that how you're reading it? He's claiming political persecution, alleging that he was close to the Congress party and that's why he was targeted. In that case, he's admitting his proximity to the Congress. Is that correct? Is that how you're looking at it?
Absolutely, and I also want to say right here, as we tracked him in London, and Vadra's aides, Sanjay Bhandari admits he was a middleman in this particular writ that he's filing in the UK courts. He's also looking at political asylum because remember his extradition proceedings are pending. Niranjan, one thing that has to be absolutely said about what Shehzad said will very, very carefully be noted. He moves a court of commissions in the United Kingdom, Sanjay Bhandari. But who really is Sanjay Bhandari? Does anybody really know the name of Sanjay Bhandari? Sanjay Bhandari comes into importance only after he started being called Vadra's aide because he was extremely close to him. There are emails that we saw in which there was a lot of property talk that was exchanged between the London property that was once wanted, and everybody knew that. But the larger picture is also going to be thought who was really the ultimate beneficiary of every deal that Sanjay Bhandari was doing. Coming to this development, I'll also tell you just last year a Rose Avenue court took cognizance of a charge sheet that the ED had filed against fugitive economic offender Sanjay Bhandari. The ED had filed a prosecution complaint and a charge sheet against him and his co-conspirators. They had asked the ED to expedite his extradition from the United Kingdom. Now he's an arms dealer. He signed agreements with Samsung Engineering for consultancy services for $10 million. We remember this case had come up, and then this, in a turn, Bhandari also acquired a property, like I was talking about, a London property that was later on supposed to have been taken for Robert Vadra. This property was later sold to Skylight Investments Dubai in 2011-12. Fugitive arms dealer has also sued French firm Thales now over 92 crore rupees as commissions that he claims is owed to him in connection with a defense deal that is linked in India a decade ago. Now Bhandari is wanted in India also under the Official Secrets Act. He's currently in the United Kingdom where he sought asylum. What is this deal that we are now reporting on, which Shravan just spoke extensively to us upon now? Viewers, this is a deal which is in contention of £2 billion contract to upgrade the IAF Mirage 2000 aircraft, which was signed in 2011 under the UPA government. The French firm, which is part of the 2016 deal in India signed for this, had stated that allegations were there that there was secret and illicit system of paying middlemen secure lucrative international contracts. This is a very serious charge that now he'll have to counter also. He had apparently court documents show that Bhandari alleged he helped Thales to sell the upgrade of the Mirage jets by facilitating a meeting. These are huge details that are coming out because they show that under the UPA era what was being done openly by Sanjay Bhandari, and now he's asking for commissions to be paid to him on his role as a middleman at the time of the UPA government. He's now saying he claims he was due a consultancy fee of £20 million but was only paid 9 million. He's described himself in this particular lawsuit that he's filed as a well-known commercial intermediary involved in arms and defense in India. The fugitive economic offender describes himself as a well-known commercial intermediary. The French firm also said Bhandari filed a petition against Thales in a commercial court in June last year for the settlement of sums due to him on an aeronautical modernization project. However, coming back to this, Thales the firm also says we firmly deny his claims regarding the money that is due to him. We never signed a contract with Sanjay Bhandari. They say we complied with the law, etc., etc. But now let's look at all these things taken in a perspective, Niranjan. His Sanjay Bhandari moves the court of commissions, and he says that I need certain commissions to be given to me as a role I played as a middleman in the UPA era. What else was happening with Sanjay Bhandari before he was now named as an economic offender? He was supposed to be extremely close to Robert Vadra. Several times we've seen him being described as Vadra's aide. In fact, the London property 12 Bryanston property was also taken apparently in his name, and there was a lot of talk that happened. And I remember those emails where there were talks about structural changes in the property, which were also signed and given from emails of Robert Vadra towards him. Now, in yet another case, there is yet another case that comes up as a controversy. Is Sanjay Bhandari trying to escape the wrath of the Indian law and the extradition proceedings by now asking for commissions and starting off another proceedings in the UK courts will have to be seen. The UK media report cites him and his plea in the court, and they say that he helped sell the upgrade of certain jets. But has he now admitted to his role as a middleman, and especially at a time of 2011 when it was the UPA era government? He also says, I was told about the scheme that enabled the payment of secret commission to intermediaries. What is this actually doing? This is not only about just one link that he has and is called as a Vadra aide, but this is also about the kind of deplorable deals, lucrative deals that were being signed at the time of the UPA, where he says I had to be paid intermediation services amounting to 20 million pounds. Now, if we look at everything into consideration, we realize that this is exactly what the ED is trying to come out in its probe also against Niranjan. Whether it's CC Thampi, another very close Robert Vadra aide who was examined very, very closely by the Enforcement Directorate, and his firm Skylight was also informed and probed, whether it was this particular dealing of 12 Bryanston property by Sanjay Bhandari in London, which had emails going from Robert Vadra's account and also finally being sold to Skylight, that is again CC Thampi's company. The fact of the matter is, it is the corruption that is going to be probed here. Once again, whether they are middlemen or not, one thing is for sure, the courts that are looking into the matters have been told by the ED that they are fugitive economic offender Robert Vadra, whose role has to be seen. Now there's a new controversy. The earlier controversies that had been extensively reported in 2017 by Republic TV. In fact, we were the only channel to actually try and investigate Sanjay Bhandari and CC Thampi and others to try and get to the bottom of what was really happening. Now in this new massive development, the arms dealer says that who's wanted in India, also remember under the Official Secrets Act, now says that that there is a deal that he had signed and he needs to be paid money for that deal. It was signed in 2011 under the United Progressive Alliance government. The French firm, which is part of the 2016 deal India signed for the delivery of these jets, is also now facing allegations, and this is very critical, that the French firm is also facing allegations that it used a secret illicit system of paying middlemen to secure lucrative international contracts. And on everything, viewers, that we've been talking about right now, this is the most important part.
Yeah.
Was there a secret and illicit system of paying middlemen to serve and secure lucrative international contracts?
Rhythm, let's see where the story goes. Thank you for joining us. We'll try and get some responses to the story and also see and try and get our hands on this particular affidavit. Thank you for joining us. Handing it back to you for now, keeping a close track on the story that only Republic TV is tracking. In fact, we were the only channel to track him down in London before any other media house had, and we told you he was being investigated.